Christmas trees and forestry, they serve three purposes when it comes to climate change. Number one, they sequester CO2. Number two, they produce oxygen. And number three, they store 30% of the carbon inside the roots. So I just like to get the point across about when there's kind of a false fact about when you cut a tree, you're damaging the environment. You're actually not damaging the environment. Because after you cut the tree, there's 30% of the carbon stored in the ground. We also every tree that's cut, we'll replant 2 trees, and we don't just harvest a field and just leave it at that. It's a constant rotation. So there's a constant rotation of trees being cut and replanted, and also a constant rotation of sequestering of CO2. So our Christmas tree farm here in Ovens sequesters over 300 or 400 tons of CO2 a year. That's every year. Our forestry in West Cork sequesters over 1,000 tons every year. So that's one of the benefits towards climate change. It sequesters the CO2 and all the harmful gases as well. So they serve a great purpose. And they're sustainable as well. Christmas trees will start off in seed in a nursery for a couple of years, up to 4 years. And then they will be planted in the ground in a farm then after that. So the total, from seed, it can take up to 12 years to grow a Christmas tree. But from planting in the ground in a farm, it takes around 8 years. But then there's other factors. We've trees growing up in a mountain over 1,000 feet of altitude, which means the trees will grow slower. The trees will be bushier, but they'll grow slower, so it'll actually take 10 years to grow a 6-foot tree. Here, just like everywhere else in Ireland, you got a lower altitude, you're looking at around 8 years to grow a 6-foot tree. The summertime, it's quite intense. You're growing them. What happens kind of from June onwards, all the branches on the trees, you can see they're hard in December, but in June all the branches they flower. They're like flowers. You can actually pick the branches off. They're that soft. So it's quite a critical time to get them into shape and making sure they're not getting damaged either. So then come August, your trees would stop growing, and then the colour would start transforming. That's when we mark the trees. We go around, we mark all the trees that would be ready to be sold. And then come September, October, November, we're getting our place ready for, let's say, just getting ready for the harvest and all that. The harvest, we try to leave it as late as possible. We also harvest regular instead of I suppose some growers they have to harvest early and get it done and just have the job done. We can harvest on a regular basis, so we've fresh trees all the time coming into our city location. I suppose coming into harvest season, it's very, very intense, for very high pressure. You would have to be expected to work 16-hour, 18-hour days at least, because we have to do the harvest, then we have to bring the trees into our city location and also serve customers in the farm here as well. It's high pressure, and while we do keep a log of what are the busiest days, you can never predict. It's pretty close, but what can happen is you may not have enough trees for the next day, which could be a very busy day. Then we'll have to harvest trees at night time and work till 2 in the morning, and then get back up again at 6 o'clock in the morning again. Do you know what? December, it's no matter how tired you are, no matter how cranky you are from being up late 2 in the morning, and you could be absolutely wrecked the next morning, black eyelids, a customer will come in and they'll be happy and they'll cheer you up. Everyone who buys a real tree, they're just such happy people. It's brilliant. Everyone comes in all excited. It's great. So we have great times, great conversations, and we get to know our customers as well.